We're going to use Nuxt's npm create Nuxt command. And let's just call this local LLMs. I'm going to use npm for ease of use. Now we'll cd. And then we need two more things. Npm install Transformers. And then we're going to do an npx nuxi module add Nuxt workers. The reason we use the nuxi module add command is it just adds our package to our Nuxt config. So if we go over to Nuxt config, you'll see Nuxt workers. Verify that your project is created correctly. These should be your dependencies. Next we're going to do is go over to our app.view and remove the defaults. I'm going to just go ahead and say Nuxt page. That then allows us to create a page directory. Make sure it's pages, not page. And in it, I'm going to do index.view. Just for now, I'm going to do just a basic little hello. Now let's do an npm run dev to get our local server going. There we go. Now we have hello world. We're going to want to create something called our workers directory. It auto imports when we have our workers in here. And let's go ahead and create a translate.ts. We're going to import pipeline from, so I'm going to say a const task translation, because I'm going to be showing you how to do translations. Specifically, there's also other tasks. If you're interested, we have Hugging Face / tasks. These are all the tasks that Hugging Face's Transformers library supports. Specifically, we are using translation. But there's also like text generation, text classification, everything you're probably used to using at this point. But you do have to be explicit when using these libraries about the task. It doesn't just auto know. And the reason is sometimes our translation models, they do like text to text translation or maybe speech to text translation. So make sure you actually check like the model itself and what they expect. And then we're going to do a model. And so the model I'm showing you is going to be Zenova NLLB 200 distilled 600M. So if we do a quick check, this is a distilled model built for Transformers.js based off of this NLLB 200 model that Facebook has released. If you do want to use other models, I found it's handy to just base it off of Zenova. Zenova is the lead maintainer of Transformers.js. So if you do check his page, you're going to find a lot, many models. Here he has 758. I don't know if they all work with Transformers.js. Chances are they do. So check here if you want to use the other ones. Now, let's create our web worker. So it has to be an async function. And here we're going to just take an input. In our case, this is going to be what we're translating. Now let's create a translator using the pipeline function, taking our task and model. And now we can run our translator. So let's create a translation equals await translator. We're going to take in our input, and then it has some options. So in our NLLB 200 example, it expects language codes. So we want our target language. So we're just going to do Spanish here, and then our source Latin. Then we can return our translation. Something to mention, this model does require this particular format of language code. It's specifically the Flores 200 language code. I provide a link on my blog if you want to see the full list of language codes that it supports. It matters. For example, you can't just say SPA. You have to do SPA Latin. Otherwise, it's just going to give you some weird errors. Keep that in mind. This does matter. Now we have a translate function. Let's now move over to our client code, and we'll just do a script setup, lang ts. And here, let's do a couple things. We want a ref with our input with the default of hello, ref of message. Then I'm going to create an async function called run translate. All this does is it's going to be calling our translate web worker function that we just created. And this input.value. Get our message, input of type text with a v model of input, and then a button with an @click of run translate. There we go. Sorry, there's a bit of a typo. Make sure this says click. Now we go back, hello, click translate. This might take a minute or 2 seconds, depends on your internet speed, because it's actually pulling the model off of Hugging Face, injecting it into your browser before it runs this. That's part of the reason we want this in a web worker, just so you can have this AI interaction with minimal blocking. Yeah, and there we have it. We now have our translation text. Let's try hello world. Click translate. Now this model is running on our computer. If you want to adjust this for other languages, let's just swap it over. Let's do English, Spanish. So now it's expecting a Spanish input. We'll do hello mundo. And now we're expecting out of it an English output. So in this case, we should see hello world. Oh, hey people. Well, it is a small model, so it's gonna have some, some finicky aspects to it, but it still works. And there you have it. Client-side translations within a Nuxt application using web workers. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.